Well, it's the end of July and we have had quite the month. Obviously we've had Iron Skull and we've had Fen Model Show, so a lot of pieces have been finished. The thing is, with these videos, I am trying to showcase stuff that you probably haven't seen, so Anthony's incredible best of show pieces aren't going to be in the video, even though they are excellent and you should definitely go and check them out. Still, hopefully I can continue to shine a light on some of the smaller, lesser known artists whose pieces that I found this month, and we can all discover some of our new favourite miniatures. I will hand over to VoiceOver Alex now, and we can just crack on with the video. This Troggoth caught my eye earlier this month, and turns out it is a gold-winning MPO online piece from Sam Lizowski, aka Samdlis Minis on Instagram. Now, I have got this model sitting on my desk, not this painted one, the plastic version, and I realised very quickly that I didn't actually want to paint it yet, so it continues to stare at me blankly. Anyway, Sam's version, with the tweak to the pose to bring it in line a little bit more with the Slayer Sword winning version, has really got this beautiful deep blue, grey and yellow scheme, which has kind of, I mean, echoes of Death Stranding in it, which is never a bad thing. The brushwork and the texture are fantastic, and things like the hue variation on the nose and the knuckles and the knees, they bring another dimension to the skin. I also love the base here, which I think is just the right amount of detail, sculpting and work to kind of offset and elevate the mini without overpowering it. I also do not want anything to do with that spider. It looks particularly dangerous. Okay, next up, Simon Dawn, aka Simon June Paints, a Chinese painter, has been working on this gold Stormcast, and holy moly is this not the most insane NMM gold I've seen in a long time. Having been working on an NMM Stormcast squad myself, this has got me reconsidering my own approach. The kind of bronzy gold tones themselves are of course really nice, really rich and biscuity, rather than overly yellow. But then you've got that beautiful purple bounce light offset with the red, which just brings this super warm overall feeling to everything. I mean, we've got this huge banner too, which has a lot of beautiful blending going on, but I think the reality is that this is just super inspirational for me overall. Also, bonus points for a snow base, since I think that cool tone like really works with the silvers and isn't necessarily an obvious choice for such a warm piece typically. Now next we have a Trench Crusade mini, this one from painter Panom Bunak, aka PB_miniature art, a talented lad from Thailand. He has a stack of amazing minis on his profile, but this Death Commando caught my eye this month. First of all, I love the scheme, the silver NMM and the rusty reds with kind of the blood all working well together, but there is a lot of wonderful subtle colour in those armour panels and of course those heated elements on its back. I like this since it's a great mix of what I'd say is grimdark in style but without kind of sacrificing quality, vibrancy or punchy colour choices. I also love the immediate impact of this one, and I would urge you to go and check out more of Panom's work on his profile. I've linked all the pieces in the description. Okay, now we have a bust from Adam Lee, aka No Adams in Paradise, hot off the back of his bronze-winning Golden Demon dual piece at Adepticon. This is a rather demonic bust done for one of the Get Good monthly challenges. First of all, the skin caught my eye here. I love the green through yellow tones, and although there are similar tones in the helmet, it's well defined enough that the helmet feels like metal while the skin keeps that kind of softer feeling. I'm also a big fan of the hulking great rusty axe on the go, and if you look carefully, the blends on the arm holding it, they go right down to that deep red of the rust. Pair that with, of course, the pink horns with all that lovely texture, and the drips onto the plinth breaking the fourth wall. There is a lot to like here. A big fan of this one. Next up, this is the Katarina bust that you will all have seen around a bit. You can find it from her oddwillow.com store, but this particular version is painted by Berlin-based painter Philippus Macht Kunst, who has represented the black skin here beautifully well. I am a sucker for yellow, and the freehand on that headscarf is excellently done. There is a wonderful definition across the piece with lots of dark lining and solid highlight placement. I particularly like how saturated the bronze is on the cheek between that highlighted area and the shadows. Now, I have it, so I know this isn't a big piece particularly, but it has wonderful impact, and Philip has some really great pieces to explore on his Instagram if you want to check that out. Okay, now I don't necessarily always go in for the historical bits, but this one really stopped me scrolling. This is a piece from Spanish painter Zwo Company on Instagram, and it has a really pleasing dramatic lighting scheme. You've got the warm light coming from the right, as well as the natural light which is catching the helmet and armour. And despite reasonably minimal brushstrokes on many of the elements, there is a very real sense to this piece. I think the pose is quite unusual for a historical sculpt, and for me the paintwork really stands out. The freehand on the chest, the NMM on the knee and helmet, with those subtle reflections in the bottom of the helmet and the shoulder. There's a lot to get lost in on this piece, and I really hope that I get to see it in person at some point. Super nice work. Now we come to Ted. He goes by White Paints on Instagram, and boy oh boy is his style unique. This particular piece, which is dedicated to the gunship track Tech Noir and the Terminator, is a bust called Connor, which you've probably seen other people paint. Not only did Ted pick up a Core Award and a GG Mallet and a Taro Golden Banana, but he took bronze in Masters at Fen this year, and all on his birthday too. What a day for this piece. I feel like I don't even need to tell you why I like this piece, but I'm going to anyway. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's the colour, the brush strokes, the vibrancy, the mix of tones and hues, the sheer talent on display, and the fact that you can spot a Ted piece at 100 yards and it still looks phenomenal. He has got a proper artistic talent, and I hope that one day I can give one of Ted's artworks a home in my cabinet. I would urge you, if you have not done already, to check out the rest of his work, since it is truly unique. This next piece is from Ben, aka NerdyB15. This is Vargok the Butcher from Dragon Miniatures, and what a cracking piece this is. Immediately, of course, I was drawn in by the yellow backdrop, but obviously there is so much more to this when you actually start looking. Firstly, the skin tones are lovely. There's a wonderful mix of warm, bright recesses and cool midtones going up to almost peachy grey highlights, and there are some awesome details around the centre of the chest, around the mouth, and that lovely purple around the eyes. The inside of the hide cloak has some amazing colour variation and texture happening, and if you take a peek round the back, there is so much colour in that metal on the shield. Lots of subtlety, but everything works really well together overall. Ben has got some great work here and on his Instagram, of course, and he seems to be somewhat short on followers, so go and check his stuff out not immediately, after the video. Now, you'll no doubt be aware that the sculptor Neriksson had a contest on recently, and there were some brilliant pieces submitted, and this is one that caught my eye particularly. This is Magra Miniatures' version of Ramona in 75mm. Jesus Magra has put together a really nice scene here, leaning into the post-apocalyptic Mad Max-esque junkyard bandit style, with that dusty desert backdrop and this woman up on top. I love the purple tones in the trousers and the hair, and those being subtly reflected in the junk below. I like the splashes of green doing the same thing on the figure and on the pile. And then things like the tattoo work on her stomach and the pop of blue on those goggle lenses really set this off very nicely. The keen-eyed among you will also spot the rat down below on the pipe, which is a fun little element too. Jesus is another little-known painter who deserves a bit of love on the socials. He has a few other amazing pieces worth checking out. Now we have Jarek, aka Drybrush, who has put together this super clever scene using the Wilder Core Hunter's figure abseiling into a ravine. So this one really stopped me scrolling, and it has so much to like. Of course, the overall composition really works, and it feels strangely rare to have a piece built up out of the base but showing a valley or ravine going down. Like, I personally really get the sense of depth happening here, and I feel like the lighting, that broken rope bridge, and the rope obviously plays into this feeling like it's a cave or ravine rather than the mini standing next to a cliff. And that is why I said abseiling to begin with. The dog up top is perfect, with its sort of curiosity having it look down. That's really nice use of that sniffing dog model for that. And just that flash of higher value green drawing the eye down the rope to the subject down below. The rocks are also super nice. These are hand sculpted and they are coloured with everything from red and yellow highlights to green and almost purple in the shadows. This is one of those pieces where I wish I'd come up with it. Right? Super nice work, and thank you to Jarek for the inspiration. Now we come to this, and holy moly, this is a piece and a half. James, aka James Davies Art, and not rich, like I stupidly assumed at Fen when I was speaking to him. James has painted this sculpt from Quentin Sculptor. This basically melted my brain at Fen this year. It was truly beautiful. From the soft tones and fur texture on the hide/hood, to the lighter golds in the jewellery, and then the skin in all its glory. And let's not forget the cast shadows, which is a level of painting I'm not even attempting yet, to be honest with you. The hood shape casting shadow onto the shoulder, the face in shadow from the hood, it just brings the whole thing to life. And I'm fairly certain that's freehand on the axe head, so that and the tattoos, just a casual freehand thrown in for good measure. This piece is an absolute delight to behold, and I am so glad I got to see this in person. Now this little guy was something else I spotted at Fen Model Show, and oh boy did it stand out. So despite it being so small, this was a really beautifully painted robin, just inconspicuously sitting next to this giant techless model, which actually ended up taking best of standard. I think the delicacy of this, combined with how bright and vibrant the colours were, really drew me to this one. This is the work of Paul Hucklesby, aka Alecto Miniatures on Instagram. His work is massively underappreciated over on his profile, so another one to go and check out when you're done with this video. Another Fen piece, this one is by Phil, aka N Veritas Art, and this snagged him gold at the show this year. This was a wonderful show of smooth skin tones and tight painting, but actually the more you look, the more you start to see all the subtleties in the skin tones. And particularly there is a super nice kind of blue-green reflection in the lower torso, which just brings a little bit of interest. And then of course we have the patina behind on the backdrop. Now I asked him, and this is an actual rusted piece of metal, hammered and treated by Phil, and then selectively sanded back to give it that wonderful orange and blue contrast. What a great idea for a backdrop. And hey, why paint on the patina when you can actually make it real? Good work, Phil. I am looking forward to more of your pieces when they land. Last, but certainly not least, we have Hayden, aka Gerbil Papa, aka Gerbil, aka Gerb, who puts out an absolute power of work, but dropped this little masterpiece for Fen this year. Inspired by the summer heatwave, but obviously a comment on global warming in general, there are these are 10mm polar bears. Of course, the immediate story is reasonably obvious here with the ice melting, but what you won't realise on first glance is that this is done on a Pringles lid, which is a play on our plastic pollution. So that probably gives you a better idea of the message, but also of the scale on these little bears. Lovely, vibrant blue for the icebergs, and I respect the avoidance of going too white on the bears here. Often we assume polar bears are of course white, but the reality is you'll view them as, I guess, light brown or cream more often than not. So lovely, lovely realism. Jerb continues to surprise me with his projects, which this year have included a firefighter on a burnt plinth, an impressive array of scales, and this year a painted Toby jug, which seemed to be a firm favourite with the Fen crowds. Well, that's us for this month. I hope you've enjoyed the selection. Feel free to check out those artists that are featured for more of their work. I've put all the links in the description. Thank you for watching, and thank you to the artists for their incredible pieces. By all means, let me know what your favourites were in the comments, and I will speak to you next time. Until then, go finish something.